hear me? With Unico Williams. That's right. It's your boy. Coming at you again on a Thursday, as I love to do. Because you know, Thursday's my favorite day of the week. Why? Well, I was born on a Thursday, 11:47 a.m. Yeah, we back with another one. And this is a very special episode. And let me get into it. Let me tell you why. Well, you know, I'm part of the media. I'm part of the media now, okay? I'm part of the media. I am a journalist, okay? And on a path of being or becoming a great journalist, you have to have sources. Well, I got sources now. So with that being said, I got some breaking news for y'all. Well, you know, this is for my Indiana people, and I think all the other states should be aware, especially the surrounding states of Indiana. I think they need to be aware of this one. Now, Governor Holcomb, he came up with this whole plan back in the summer about back on track. The back on track plan. It sounded real good, but we knew it would lead to trouble. Reopening states and all that. I personally felt like that wasn't a great thing to do so quickly because we went into the pandemic and the shutdowns and all that in March. And they're talking reopening plans back in April and May. After they didn't have the knowledge. They don't have the answers, Sway. They didn't have that. So what ends up happening is this. Go to phase 1. Go to phase 2, you go to phase 3, all the way to phase 5, which we are currently in right now, the get back on track plan. We're in stage 5 right now. Clubs full capacity with some, are allowed to be open, and restaurants are allowed to be open with social distancing and, you know, those type of measures being whatever. This people, man, I done seen so many people in these clubs getting danced on, all that. Now, ain't nobody dance on me because I ain't been around there. I ain't been in none of these clubs. I've been to a couple bars, but you know, I've gone by myself to get some wings. I love wings. To get some wings or something by myself. Of course, I'm social distancing and I'm wearing my mask and they looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, here's the T. The T is this. So, the phase 5, because we're supposed to be all the way fully open or whatever by September 23rd. That was the plan. So, Governor Holcomb, he extended that to November 14th. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Like, we already kind of screwing up on this whole thing. But let's extend the mask mandate a little bit longer. All right, cool. Well, my sources. I sound so big time. I feel so big time. I'm breaking this to you. Now, it might not be true and things can change, but I'm telling you, this is what to be mindful of. Now, he was jacking his jaw, talking about things going to be back to normal in a sense in November. The corona has not gone anywhere, people. It hasn't. It's still around. It's spiking. It's spiking in this state, especially in Indiana. I'm sure it's spiking everywhere else, just not everybody's getting tested for it. But I'm going to tell you like this here. My sources tell me that come October 23rd, tomorrow, Friday, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's today. If you're watching it later on down the line, look back on this day in history, in October 22nd when I told you this. As of tomorrow, as of Friday, as of October 23rd, 2020, the state will be on a quarantine, as in nobody enters the state and nobody leaves the state. Indiana is on that list of states that will not allow people to come in or to leave out because we are showing out when it comes to this corona thing. It is spiking, people. It's still here. It ain't went nowhere. People still dying from it. Okay, we got sports back. We got all that. You know, that's a little bit of a distraction. They're playing in bubbles. The NFL, they're playing right now. They still shutting down stuff. This coronavirus has not gone anywhere. So here's what I say to you, and it's the biggest part. Not only is the state going to be on a quarantine, nobody in, nobody out kind of situation, but they're rolling back to phase 2. Phase 2. Not rolling back to just phase 4. Currently we're in phase 5. Not just going back to phase 4. And not just going back to, maybe we could do 3 and that. Phase 2. We're going back to phase 2 of the get back on track plan. That's the T. Come October 23rd, Indiana will be in or out state. Quarantine. Nobody in, nobody out. And we moving back to phase 2. Okay? Now that's what my sources tell me. So anybody that has a job right now, have you been looking at management? Have they been acting a little funny lately? Acting a little finicky, like, hey, get out of here as soon as you can. And do things from home. It might be the case for a lot of companies right now, and maybe you don't notice it, but that's because this news is dropping tomorrow, come Friday, October 23rd, 2020. Don't forget, you heard it here first, all right? So keep that in mind. Parents, be aware. Anybody that got kids in school that's still going to the schoolhouse, make sure that you are prepared for this, because if it drops Friday, that means your kid's going to be at the crib on Monday, and you got to figure something out. So they're going to give it a weekend to figure it out, but this is highly probable that this is happening. Now, if I'm wrong, all right, I was wrong. Y'all go back and let it. But if I'm right, you heard it here first. Do you hear me? Woo! That felt so good to get on my chest. I kept it old secret. I told about two, three, 4 people. I told a couple people, but they was quiet. They was mum about it. So we good. I'm good. I'm happy that I get to tell y'all, but I'm also saddened by the fact that we have to go through this, and people are going to have to go through this transition again, in the sense that when we started this whole thing back in March, trying to figure this whole back on track thing. So shout out to Back on Track. That reminds me of Peyton Manning and how you say me, Reggie, Dwight, we just got a run the ball. He was here at Ball State this week with David Letterman doing Peyton's Places. So that was cool. That's the chirp. I'm just saying Indiana does Indiana stuff. Okay. And Indiana did the most Indiana thing it could do. Keep it moving. Not taking precautions. They got clubs that's trying to sue the Marion County. That's where Indianapolis is, if you will. Shout out to Hamilton County, all them surrounding areas. That's where they're at. And they're fighting back against the state for all these mandates. The mandates are there for a reason, okay? The mandates are there for a reason. That reason being because Corona is still here. COVID, sweet lady Rona is still here. She grabbing y'all by the hand. I'm going to tell you about old Corona. She's a whore. She gets around, okay? She don't care who it is. She don't care what you look like. She's on the spectrum, or could be a he. It doesn't matter. She's on this LGBTQ plus sign, all of that. On the spectrum, she don't care who it is. She love to get inside you. He loved to get inside you. It would love to get inside you. That's all I'm trying to say. Keep that in mind. Y'all got to be safe and make better decisions. I know I done showed out a little bit on it. Been in gatherings, but I felt like they were safe. They were safe. They were small gatherings, you know what I'm saying? But even they've been saying that those aren't the most safe things either. They're saying that these are transmitted in those small gatherings where it's like 5 or 6 people playing spades. It's about 10 people, getting together and having a picnic. Nobody's social distancing. You just like cross your fingers. Understand this as I segue on to the next point here. The president, back in January, gave an interview about the coronavirus. He was updated on everything that it is, everything that's going on with it, and still chose to poo-poo it. He chose to do that for the people, make people feel safe. Oh, I know it's a pandemic, but now employment rates are higher now, and we're giving you guys money, and we're going to open these states back up. So, all those people that lost hope, Now you got hope because now we're opening your restaurant back up. Now we're opening your store back up. Listen, man, we're going to have to sit down and be broke for a second, man. That's just it. I hate to say it, but I'd rather be alive than working a 9 to 5. I'd rather be alive than working my 9 to 5 when I can have it. Now, luckily, my 9 to 5, my Clark Kent job, if you will, allows for me. I have a home office, so I'm good. I can do things, but not so many people are fortunate enough to do that. Some people have to go. I'm sure that the computer industry is just blowing up right now because there's no point in having these buildings open because the threat is still super duper real. And that's just me being real with you. And this is happening at a crazy time because we all know what happens November 3rd. November 3rd is when, you're able to vote. Obviously, early voting is in there. And then obviously, which I find it weird that the post office is having all these like crazy delays and all that, and people aren't getting things when they're accustomed to getting them, and that could affect the people that are doing mail-in voting because we can't just go to the polls. Now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna show up. I have my mask on. I'm gonna be very far away from people. I'm gonna have my Laker mask on. Shout out to my cousin Carolyn. I'm gonna have all that on and do the best I can, but I gotta show up and I need that sanitizer. I'm gonna bring my own. I'm gonna use theirs. All of that. So be careful because this ain't went nowhere yet. Somebody very close to me, just got tested for it and they got it. And that person is in a healthcare facility and they got it. And I'm it's beyond me how they got it, but they did. Because all of the practices and all the stuff that's in place for this, if anybody's practicing that, it's supposed to be healthcare facilities, right? But it's just like when I brought up the NFL and the NBA and all that. The NBA, they stayed in one place. Everybody. Even my man's down there that played for the Houston Rockets. The person that was testing them, she wasn't approved to be in his room, period. Point blank, period. And he got kicked out the bubble for that reason. So, just like in NFL, they're able to go home and they're able to go live their lives. They're not sitting in a bubble type situation. They're not. And that's 53 people are on the roster that travel on game day in the NFL. There's a practice squad. There's trainers. There's all types of things, all types of moving parts in all these organizations. And they're allowed to go home. They are not on Football Island just being quarantined. They're going home. And that's just like even these healthcare people that go home at some point. And that could be what's spreading it too. Like it's crazy. I just want y'all to be safe. That's all I want. That's all I ask of. Next step in the parade. The final presidential debate, if you even want to call it a debate, is tonight. It might be going on now. I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention to what time it was because I'm not watching it. I'm decided. You know what you're going to do. November 3rd is right around the corner. You know which way you're going. Yeah, I just saw an old Trump rally the other day. And it wasn't so much a Trump rally. It was like a whole bunch of pickup trucks led by, a spider? Some guy in a spider. He works at somewhere like Magnatech or something like that. I don't know. But it was led by this guy. And they were honking their horns. It was during our I coached some kids in football, 3rd and 4th grade. I coached them taco bar, and they made their presence felt by driving around Walmart, the South Walmart at that. But they made their presence felt, honking their horns. And what that says to me, and based off of the people that seem to support him, it seems like it's not the people that are so much as economically inclined to vote for him. It's just people that just want to make America great again. That good old 1776 America where black people and people that are immigrants and whatnot were not thought about when they wrote the Declaration of Independence and all of that. When they wrote that stuff and when they wrote the Constitution, it did not have black people in mind. It did not have Asian people in mind. It did not have Hispanic people in mind. It did not have anybody in mind but them light-skinned folk. That's from across the water. So I don't plan on it because I know I'm probably gonna catch some highlights, but I don't care. I got to be honest. I know what it is, and I just prefer to have somebody in office that represents me. Like, if I were to go in front of China and they'd be like, they say, "Oh, where you from?" "I'm from America." "Oh, you talking about that person that was talking shit the other day?" Yeah, that doesn't represent me. I would come to China in peace. I would come to a lot of things in peace. So that's where we at, man. I hate this division. The division is so terrible to me. The division that this world is in at this point is so ugly and crazy. And at us as human beings, we tend to find a reason to divide, a reason to create groups. And even within those groups, they create groups. Everybody's been in a lunchroom before, right? Everybody can go to lunch. Some people can't afford lunch. Some people can. Then you got athletes. Then you got the cheerleaders. Then you got the pretty girls. Then you got the golfs. And then you got all these subgenres of people. And it's always a division. Maybe the golfs will hate the athletes, or the athletes will make fun of the golfs, or the nerds, if you will. They'll have some sort of disdain for the people that play sports. Things like that. And that's what I've always thought of myself as, the bridge. I feel like the avatar. I feel like the avatar at this point in my life. The point is to bridge people together. It's the point of this show, the whole show that I do, Do You Hear Me? With Unico Williams. It sounds like it's my show, but it's not my show. It's your show. It's the people that appear on my couch. It's their show. And I just want to bridge the gap by finding commonalities, because that's how we can truly unite, is finding the commonalities instead of focusing on our differences. And the division is huge. Like, if this world was zero racist and all that, like, nobody would vote for Trump at this point. And he probably changed his tune a little bit, because that wouldn't get you in office, is that divide. But since there is a divide, there's people talking about there's going to be a civil war if Biden wins and all that. Man, listen, y'all got to cut that crap out, man. Cut the shit. Just cut it. All right? Like, and the worst part about it is that it seems like the people that support him the most, okay, you have some of your elitists, but it seems like the majority of the people, because it's the people that vote for, there's only so many people that make millions of dollars. Like, if you look at the percentages, the percentage of people that make millions of dollars a year or have that in their account, $1 million or more, is less than 1%. So if you think about it in that way, the people that are voting for him, they're not the rich people. That's the minority, is the people that are rich. But there's this group of people that want to feel elite, but they're not elite. Like, if they go in their own circle of people, if they go into a convention of all the people that look like them and whatnot, they look down on you. And I need you to understand that. They're not for you. All these people that are sitting out here, and let me be a generalist. It's the people in the backwoods. It's the people in the trailer parks. It's the people that's not very wealthy, light-skinned Americans. And they're the ones that's all about that, because they're trying to find their way in life. They're trying to find that I'm really elitist. And there's some people that aren't that rich, but they have like an elitist attitude in a sense. Maybe they're a manager, or maybe they run a store or something like that. And they just have this elite attitude. And that's why I'm going for Trump, because us people at the top, you're not at the top. You're infinitesimal when it comes to all this. Okay? You got to understand that you're being led blind, and you're starting a division that we really shouldn't have. We should just be human beings that do the right thing. And I often think about, what if I were the police? What if I were authority? I saw a video of T.I. trying to get into his neighborhood, and this isn't a black on black thing as it starts. But I'm thinking about, this happened in 2018. He's trying to get into his building. And the guy, and he's a brother, it might be like Haitian or something. Yeah, like, I don't think he was like, born and bred brother from America. But, and I ain't got no problem with that. But I was giving him a hard time. Now, the brother was asleep in the guard shack. So that brought me to watch this whole thing, because they had it all put together. Like, ever since T.I. came up, the footage from the guard shack, the body cameras of the police. If you watch this, it's so terrible. It's awful what happened. So he gave T.I. a hard time, finally let him in after his wife calls, and the dude even has the nerve to say, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Says it to this man's wife. So I 100% get it. Because if I had a wife, you ain't going to talk to her like that without me coming to come see. But what I'm saying is this. So he thought about it. And he's thinking, I'm sure he got home, and Tiny was like, yo, the dude that answered the phone at the guard shack, oh, he was out of line. He had to go check him about that. And the thing was, he was just asking for his name so that he could take his name down and bring it up to his superiors and whatnot of how he was treated that night. Well, the dude calls the cops, lying, and the cops come, and T.I. ends up somehow arrested for this. And the cop is just already on his high horse of, oh, he thinks his shit don't stink. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He didn't look at the camera. And T.I. was 100% in the right. He just asked, and all the police were saying, well, he doesn't have to tell you his name. Like, it was almost like he was trying to, in a sense, take care of one of theirs. And what did I tell y'all in a couple episodes about a couple episodes ago about people that say that where you think that you good, just like the Attorney General in Kentucky, you think you good with them people, but at the end of the day, they'll turn their back on you. Man, that security guard is fired to this day. T.I. went to jail. He paid $300. He could have beat the case, but he paid $300 for like a noise complaint, even though he had like a whole bunch of other charges they put on him. But the cop is saying, you went up there and raised hell. You weren't there. You didn't watch the camera or anything. You just arrested T.I. for no reason. Now, his homeboy had an old warrant. Now, that was funny. You know, he had the do-rag and the cornrows. That shit was funny. But I'm sure he got out of it. But it's just, that's what happens here is people have preconceived notions about people, preconceived ideas about people. And that's why our world is as, excuse my language, as fucked up as it is. Because people have preconceived ideas about people without coming into the situation and getting to know a person or getting to get all the facts. It's happened to me in my Clark Kent jobs. It happens to me. It's happened to me plenty of times. He's funny. He thinks he's cocky. He's this, he's that. And don't even give me a chance. Don't even listen to me. Then they come to find out that I'm amazing. I'm an amazing human being. But that happens. It happens. And it's something about authority and people just wanting to be above people. I wish people would just come to each other and just be cool. Which brings me to this point here. So in Nigeria, you may have seen in some of the on Twitter that has been trending about end SARS, stop SARS. Now SARS, I ain't talking about the disease that had everybody scared. That wasn't nothing like the Rona. But this it's an authoritative team, law enforcement, if you will, in Nigeria, that when they were formed, they were supposed to stop a lot of the crime and all that kind of stuff. And actually they did do that for some time. They were actually, lauded. Like they were put on a pedestal and they were like, hey, these people help make Nigeria better. Well, what ends up happening is that once they started getting that control and all of that, well, they started doing the people bad. They started kidnapping people. They're raping people. They're doing all types of things. Now let's talk about this, because in this End Stop SARS movement, it's the basis of it is police brutality. Now that's something that we're going through in our own country. That's something that we're going through right now. And a lot of it is because of the authoritative issues that some of our light-skinned friends have, and they happen to make up a lot of the police force. So let's take it to what Nigeria is. Nigeria is, majority is black. So your police officers are going to be black. Your people in office are going to be black. They're going to be black. Like the heads, well, I don't know if they have mayors. Do they have a president? I'm not sure. I don't know much about Nigeria. But pretty much everything, you would think that's like, utopia for black people. Is black people dealing with black people stuff every single day. Well, what happens when everybody is the same? So we have, quote unquote, an excuse for what's going on over here. It's just, hey, some conquerors came through and they just want to keep things going their way. But in Nigeria, that's a black populace. So it helps you break it down. It's not so much about, now for us specifically, race has a lot to do with it in America, but it has something to do when you go look at countries like that. You look at Asia and you look at when it's people that are the same, it becomes sort of a dictatorship. It becomes whatever China is. So you end up in these situations where the true colors, it's not the skin, it's just people in authority and how they, and it's talking about what people in power, just what they're thinking. They just want to stay in power and they want to keep the people around them in power and keep them happy. And they could give a damn about the majority. I've always thought of sports, and I think we all do. Sports is a microcosm of what society is. So if you ever want to know how people in America or just how people in general feel, join a team. Get on a bowling team. Get on like an adult league. Play volleyball. Do something like that. Just join some sort of league, and you'll see. You got your captain. You got your coach. You got all that. I mean, we're looking at college football right now. You got your Nick Sabans of the world, and he runs that kingdom. That's his kingdom. And what he says goes. And everybody else is just a part of his plan. Yeah, they get the education, but who's getting the money? It's Coach Saban. So, authority is the people that you put in authority that will determine how the rest of your society is going to go. I always think of myself, I say, if I was a cop, what would I do? How would I do this situation? I've come to find out that in my head of thinking of every single situation, I think I would be a damn good cop. I would. There was a time, quick story, there was a time, I was down in Indianapolis, I went to me old gentleman's club. And I ain't spend no money up there because I don't believe in paying for that. But shout out to people that try to get paid that way. But I don't pay for that because it's too many people in this world to be paying for any of that. But I like my keys in my car. So I asked one of Indianapolis' finest. He was out there. He's like, "Oh, I got a set to open up your keys." I guess he's working off duty, so he's open. He's doing security. I was like, "Hey, man, that's what's up. Can you help me out with this? Because I'm not gonna have a good time inside there if I'm worried about my keys being locked in my car. You know what I'm saying?" He said, "Yeah, I'll help you. Give me $50." I was like, $50? What are you talking about? Aren't you a police officer? He said, "Yeah, but I'm off duty." Okay, I mean, that's cool and all, but you got the tools to help me and assist me. So can you help me out here? Yeah, I can help you out for $50. That tainted my view of the police after. I mean, I've seen a whole lot of other things. When we were seniors, one of my friends got handcuffed by the police for no reason. But that tainted my view of the police because I feel like people that are police need to be the same person all the time. I'm not asking you to be a police officer all the time. I'm asking you to be a good person. Most of the time, at least. When you have an opportunity to do something as simple as go to your car and get your little kit to help me get in my car, that gives me more respect and more trust in authority. But the way that situation ended, man, I just feel like you're just another person. You're just there for a check, or you're there to just do people bad. I don't. That's why you can't trust law enforcement right now because they don't do anything to make you trust them. Every now and then there's a viral video of a police officer shooting the basketball and all that with the local kids. Okay, that's cool. I'm talking about when it really counts, man. And that's what's going on in Nigeria right now. It's not a black and white thing. It's power against the people. authority versus the people. And we have to be cognizant of that kind of stuff because, again, even though that's a small country, or it's a microcosm of society and how it works. Like I said, look at China. It looks like a dictatorship. Nigeria, it looks like a dictatorship. It looks bad. So that's something that just, you can see it in your own workplace. Some people just think that they're better than everybody else and you're just the little peons, you're just the little ants, and this is your kingdom and you run that. That's not how it should be. And you should care about each person that's quote unquote under you. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And we're all the same. Hey! Did you say a word today, Unico Williams? You sure did, baby. Yeah. That's it. I'm off my soapbox. Let's get into it. Thursday night football. That's going on tonight. You got Eagles versus Giants. Let's get into our spreads. They got Eagles by 4.5, so they're saying that it's closer to a field goal game. I personally think that this game could be about a 10-point game. I'm going with the Eagles on this one just because I'm not done with Carson Wentz yet. I'm not done with Carson Wentz. I think that he's got it. He's got it. I really do. So if I'm you, if you haven't gone for it yet, go Eagles 4.5. It's something about that Titans and Steelers game that I'm not too sure about. On one hand, you got the Titans, pretty good run game going on. They've been playing good ball. They've also allowed a lot of points. Pittsburgh's looking really good right now, especially from an offensive standpoint. If Titans get down, it could be an ugly one for them. I'm not sure about Tannehill. I've always liked them, but I'm not too sure about him. Also, Big Ten football is back this weekend. I got my Ohio State Buckeyes going against Nebraska. Just in case y'all didn't know, I'm Ohio State Buckeyes to the death of me, okay, as far as football goes. Basketball, I'm due. But we'll talk about that later if we get an opportunity. Right now, they are favored by 26.5 points. 26.5 points by Nebraska. Man, we have not seen anybody do anything in the Big Ten. We haven't seen spring practices. We haven't seen anything. But I guess something about Justin Fields and him being a Heisman finalist and all that. I think he's going to have something to say about. I think he's ranked 20th in this draft this year. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm talking too much about Nigeria and all types of other things in the corona. But they got Ohio State favored by 26.5 points. I'm not sure about that. They might put the gas down. They haven't played in a long time. They might have a lot of aggression. Nebraska hasn't been too great and hasn't played as great in the last few years. So maybe I'd go with that one. 26.5. I mean, that's 3 touchdowns, almost 4. But we've known Ohio State to go out there, and I think Justin Fields is probably better. And I think we'll go into this tournament in a good way. I know we're gonna go undefeated. Mark that right now. Big Ten champion. If you're going to put money on that, go for Ohio State. And this could be Harbaugh's last year at Michigan because he's not going to beat Ohio State and he has not beaten us yet. And that's just what it is if it ain't nothing else. Also, IU is playing against Penn State this week. So I'm not really sure how that's going given the breaking news that I gave you earlier in the show. The in and out, because Indiana has already been placed on Pennsylvania's do not go to list. So you have no business going there or coming back to the state. So we'll see if that game continues, but Penn State may have, for the money, I think Penn State and them will still play it, but there will be some concern. There could be some cases. That's just me. That's my thoughts on it. I kind of feel like Penn State may not come to this game. But the feeling is they will. But there will be some concern because it's IU. And we already know IU done dealt with plenty of their spikes. Not sure about their bubble situation because if you're there to play ball, I'm hoping that you're doing the right thing. But these are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids. You on a football team, some perks come with that. Some perks come with that. I know a little bit about that. But the perks come with that. Being on a football team, and especially a big campus like that. So we'll keep our eyes on that one, but I'm not sure if it'll go off. But I'm pretty sure for the bread, they got to at least do one game, and they'll just take the sacrifice of whoever gets it. They just gonna get it. Also, World Series Game 3 tomorrow is tied 1-1. Braves versus Dodgers. Dodgers, LA, of course. They dropped the one last night, but Game 3, I think that the Dodgers take this one. I think they're going to put in their ace for this one. I think that in Game 2, I don't think they gave it their best shot. They did what they could, but you know they had a tough series, and Kershaw, I can't even call him at this point, but they got plenty of aces, but I think their bullpen isn't that great, and last night they showed us that they're not. So, but I do believe that Game 3 will go to the Dodgers. I think that they'll have a great pitching game, unless something happens while they're trying to close it out in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. So, I say if you're going to put your bread on it, because that spread is at 1.5. So, baseball is so tricky because it's a 1-point thing, but you never know, they could explode for like 7 or 8 points. Also, the over-under on that, I think, is like 13 or 12. I don't see it accumulating to that, but it could happen. That's baseball. But if it comes, I say that it comes from the Dodgers hitting well, because I just don't see the Braves hitting well, because I think that the Dodgers are going to come. They're going to put their ace in and do their thing. Now, ladies, if you're concerned about somebody hitting it out the park, hitting the ball out the park, and do it every single time, you can always bet on me. That's right, hop on Christian Mingle. It's your boy Bartholomew. I'm out here. Go ahead and hit me up on christianmingle.com. I'm Bartholomew. I'll give you a good time. Hey, in the house of the Lord. Also, you can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube on Fridays. We are out here. I'm not playing. Overall 99 ENT. We're not playing. We got purpose. We got keeping 99. What's new 99? What's sports 99? We got all that. We the new BT, baby. So make sure y'all tune in. We giving y'all stuff all throughout the week. Matter of fact, we got an anime series we just started. We not playing around. So with that being said, it's been another episode of Do You Hear Me? With Nico Williams. I holla.